Every single car dealership is basically sitting on a gold mine of data, customer interactions. But the big question is, how do you actually turn all that into more sales? Well, today we're going to dive into how one company, Amuvi, is helping dealerships unlock the real power of AI. They're turning it from this confusing buzzword into what might be their single most effective sales tool. So let's break down exactly how they do it. So let me start with a question for every sales manager, every BDC manager out there. Does this feel a little too familiar? The leads are just pouring in, your customers expect answers like yesterday, and your team is totally stretched thin just trying to keep their heads above water. It feels like a constant battle just to stay ahead, right? Yeah, these are the classic signs. Slow BDC response times. We're talking minutes, sometimes hours, when today's car buyer expects an answer in seconds. And what about those expensive CRM systems, your VIN solutions, your e-lead? You're paying a fortune for them, but they're basically just being used as a glorified digital address book. Then you've got generic marketing for your inventory and these totally canned follow-up scripts that just feel robotic. This right here, this is the modern dealership dilemma that a movie is stepping in to solve. All right, let's jump into the first part of their solution. It's all about tackling the communications hub of the entire dealership. We're talking the BDC and sales follow-up, and really transforming it from a frustrating bottleneck into a high-speed conversion engine. Wow, and this slide really says it all, doesn't it? It just drives home the massive scale of this change. We're not talking about being just a little bit faster. This is a complete paradigm shift in how you respond to leads. From minutes, or let's be honest, sometimes hours, down to just a few seconds. When a potential buyer is clicking around online, that speed isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely everything. Okay, so speed is obviously a huge deal, but quality? That's the other half of the puzzle. And this is really where a movie's training starts to shine. Forget those generic, thanks for your interest emails that nobody reads. We're talking about crafting super personalized messages that actually get a response. So imagine this. A customer walks out because the monthly payment on an SUV was just too high. A movie's framework helps your team whip up an instant follow-up that tackles that objection head-on. It might highlight a new financing deal, or maybe a similar model that hits a lower price point. That's how you use AI to sound, well, human. So you've got this lightning-fast, personalized communication going. But how does that actually plug into everything else you're doing at the dealership? That brings us to our next section. Amuvi's whole philosophy isn't about ripping and replacing your expensive systems. It's about supercharging the tech you already own, especially your CRM and your marketing tools. And look, this isn't just about flipping a switch and hoping it all works. Amuvi has this really meticulous four-step process. They start by digging into your current workflow to find exactly where things are breaking down. Then, they build the AI integration right into your CRM, so every single interaction is logged automatically. What that means for you is you get all the amazing benefits of AI speed and personalization, but you also maintain perfect compliance and have a crystal clear record of every conversation. It's all the power, none of the headache. And check this out. This is a massive time saver for your marketing folks. You know how every car has that unique VIN with all its features? Well, Amuvi trains your team to use AI to instantly spin that dry technical data into a compelling, unique description for your website. This means every single car listing is written to get noticed on Google, helping your inventory stand out without your team having to spend hours on tedious writing. It's a game changer. Now, let's talk about a huge concern with AI, control, right? How do you make sure your team uses it the right way without going off brand or, even worse, just making stuff up? This next section covers Amuvi's answer to that, and it's called a custom AI playbook. This right here is the heart of their strategy for making AI safe and consistent. The dealership prompt library. Think of it like a set of pre-approved, expert-level instructions you give the AI. It's not just about asking random questions. This is a playbook that's been specifically engineered for the car business to get the right result every single time and to prevent those weird, nonsensical AI answers they call hallucinations. Let's look at a real-world example straight from Amuvi's playbook. Just notice how precise this is. The AI is given a very clear role, act as a lease retention specialist. It's given specific context, 3 months left on their lease, and the exact vehicle, an aviator. This kind of detail means the AI isn't just going to spit out some generic email. It's going to create a super targeted, professional message that's way more likely to get that customer back into your showroom. So this all leads to a really crucial question. Why not just go out and buy some off-the-shelf AI tool? Amuvi's entire model is built on the answer to that question. Because real success with AI, it's not about the software, it's about the strategy. It's the difference between just buying a tool and actually gaining a partner. And this slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. On one side, you have generic AI software. It's just a tool, not a strategy. It doesn't help you with integration, and you're kind of left hoping the tone is right. But with the Amuvi partnership, it's the whole shebang. You get mentorship and actual training. They build custom workflow integrations for your dealership. They put up brand and compliance guardrails so you're always safe. And instead of just generic outputs, you get these carefully engineered frameworks designed to get results.
And that's really their mission when you boil it all down. They act as that essential bridge. They connect the incredible potential of cutting-edge AI with the reality of the software and the processes that your dealership already relies on, day in and day out. They make the future of sales something that's actually accessible and practical for your teams right now.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. What if your dealership's most valuable asset wasn't the metal sitting out on your lot, but the quality, the personalization, and the speed of every single conversation you have with a customer? By turning communication into your biggest competitive advantage, Amuvi's partnership model promises to do more than just make you efficient. It promises to fundamentally change the way you sell cars.